Good afternoon, folks. It's September 12th, 2024. Welcome to this Minnesota MCCC via Ed Fi Reporting webinar. Before I get into that, my name is Paul Freed. I'm the lead trainer at JMC. I've been with JMC for 20 years. So I've seen a lot of things happen with MCCC and also just state reporting. I've got a lot of people who are joining me today to support folks, and people reach out to us and say, I need reporting or I need training for MCCC. Can someone train me? My answer is always like, we have a team of people that train you with these videos. So main thing is we got all the experts here today. And we're going to run through all the steps. As long as you follow the steps in the order laid out, you will have MCCC success. So that's the main thing. Follow the steps as we go through. The other thing to note is that the MCCC reporting is for 23-24. That is what this is for the 23-24 school year. You're reporting grades for the previous school year. They have not opened up 24-25 reporting yet. So again, my name is Paul Freed. I'm joined by Jake Van Scoy, Linda Hill, Greg Gilman, Denise Drew from the JMC team, and then Karen Millette from the MDE will be joining us as well. And I will make sure, sometimes I talk fast, as folks know in my webinars. I will make sure to take pauses and ask people for questions if they want to add things as we go through the process. I typically go through the first part pretty methodically. And then when it gets to sending data in via Ed Fi, I go through that pretty quickly because somebody at your school will already have been sending in Ed Fi data. And so if that's not you, you could work with that person. All right, let's get into it. The Minnesota Ed Fi integration with JMC provides a smooth transfer of the most current and precise course and grading data from your school to the MDE. To complete the transfer, your school will need to prepare your data to meet the requirements of the state and then send your data via the Ed Fi integration. Reporting course and student information, college partnerships, and instructional minutes has never been more streamlined and accurate. And to repeat, just follow these directions. When you, if you have any questions, please hold all your questions to the Q&A session at the end of each section. If you do need to communicate with myself, feel free to use the Q&A chat feature in your webinar toolbar. We will get to every question. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, in the description on the YouTube channel, these slides can be downloaded. We highly recommend people download them, follow them bit by bit as we go. Don't jump ahead. This is how you have MCCC success. Importing course data. Transitioning your course data from one year to another becomes effortless using JMC's course data importing tools. Streamline the yearly scheduling procedure by retaining all course and section data from the prior school year, guaranteeing accurate course setup. The import course data page enables you to refresh all courses, section information, including Perkins codes for the present year with a straightforward button click. So you'll head to Schedules, Course, Import Course Data to import your course section data. Step 1, click the Preview Import button to view those course records that will or will not be updated with the Import Course Data function. So if something doesn't match, and I think it says that here, yep, JMC will only import courses and section data for courses that have previously matching course name and number to avoid importing incorrect data. So if you did change a course name, no problem. Nothing's broken, but we will tell you if that data did not import. Review the Preview Import Summary to identify courses that require manual updates to ensure all courses are prepared for state reporting. Step 2, click the Print Import Summary button to print or save the PDF of the potential course data updates. So if you want to, you can update this right here. Great example on this one right here. It says Perkins course codes records imported right here. This one, course with no matching name or number from the prior year. Number 3, advanced business. I just added that in last year. So it's telling me I need to go in and put in all the course data for MCC reporting. So it's a really handy report. I would print that to a PDF. Step 3, click the Cancel Import Summary button to return to the Import Course Data page, which is going to take you back here. Step 4, click the Import button to import course data from the prior year to the current year. Fun fact, this is very important, importing course data will not overwrite data manually entered in the current year to prevent you from losing valuable information. Step 5, click the Print Summary button to print or save a PDF of the summary report, or click the Cancel Summary button to return to the Import Course Data page. Fun fact, your course data is now imported from the prior year to the current year and can be reviewed by visiting Schedules, Course, Edit Course Data, and searching for a specific course in the Find field. Planning on renumbering courses to clean up your course data list? It's best practice to import course data first, then update your course list to ensure courses contain proper course codes, right? So that's what you want to do. And I'll talk about that in a moment when it comes to the current school year. Let's take a live look. I'm going to take a live look, then I'll see if the panel has anything they want to add to this particular screen. I'm going to go under Schedules, Course, to import course data. Schedules, Course, to import course data. Lots of information in here. You can actually do it multiple times. We do tell you the last time it was done. So I've already done this on 5/9/24. I can preview this and I can import this via all the things I just told you and all the items in the slides. But I want to be clear about one thing. Here's what's happening. I'm in the 23-24 school year. When I import, I'm importing my data from the 22-23 school year. Why would I do that? Well, the reason you would do that is if you've successfully done your MCCC reporting for 22-23 and there's no errors, that's great data. You want to import that, get all the correct course codes, all the information in there. That's going to make sure your 23-24 data is basically ready to go for MCC reporting, unless there's new codes or new courses that you need to put information in. So you'll do all this information, all this in 23-24. You want to do this step, especially if you've done MCCC previously. If this is your first year doing MCCC, you've never done it previously at your school district, you really wouldn't necessarily need to do this, but it's also not going to hurt anything, so I would do it as a best practice. I'm not going to talk about reporting in future years very much, but I will tell you, you want to make sure to do this in the next school year and every upcoming school year to make sure you're importing your course data. That's why we tell you, make sure to follow these slides, right? Next year, when you come to do your MCCC, attend one of our trainings or watch the video and follow the directions that we have here. Does anybody have anything they want to add from the panel? If you do, unmute yourself. I'm going to go to the question and answer slide as well if anybody wants to ask a question. And if I don't hear anything here, then we'll keep on moving. I won't say this many more times, but I'm just always direct. Karen knows this about me and other folks as well. Make sure you follow the directions on the steps. You don't want to be the school that says, hey, I put all this course data in, but I didn't import my course data. Should I have done that? Yes, you should have done that. Follow these directions. We want you to be successful. It brings us joy. It'll bring yourself some joy as well. Editing teacher details. This is very easy to do. In JMC Office, easily grant teachers access to JMC Teacher and make sure their data is accurately reflected on all scheduling and grading reports. Swiftly add new teachers to JMC or edit details for existing teachers, including usernames, passwords, and email addresses to make sure your list is up to date with any staffing changes. I'm going to go through this pretty quickly because we're talking about staffing from last year. All your teachers should already be in JMC because the school year was done 3 months ago. To get started adding teachers, go to Attendance Staff Teachers. I'm not going to take a live look. I'll just show you this right here. Step 1, select the teacher that you want to find, okay? If you got a new teacher, you can click the Add New Teacher button, but again, your teacher should already be in there. Step 2, place a check mark in the building access. This one can be important. If you didn't see a teacher in there that you want to activate, you sure could do your building access. Step 3, enter the display name. Step 4, enter the last name. Step 5, enter a username. Step 6, enter a password. Step 7, enter their email in there as well. Again, you wouldn't even need to do that because they're not going to be logging into last year's JMC teacher. Step 8, you can put a sort priority in there. Don't need to do that for last year. Last year's already done. You can review and edit information for additional state-specific fields, such as the file folder number. This does need to be in there for MCCC. So here we are in September. I would not imagine you're adding teachers into last year. But one thing you want to make sure is that each teacher has the correct file folder number for the state, because that's how the state knows which teacher it is by that identifying number. You're not going to change a photo last year. You wouldn't need to add any comments, but you will want to click the update button there as well. If you wanted to print out your teacher, you sure could do that. So I'm not even going to do a Q&A on that, ask if there's items. If you have a question about that, send it in. I will answer it when we get to the end of the editing room details. Very similarly, I'm going to go through this pretty quickly, but there is a step that needs to be done here that you might not have done last year. So here we go. Sign up with the classrooms you intend to use for instructions as SNAP in JMC Office. Enter the room name or number and provide capacity limit details, and you're on your way to effectively managing your spaces and avoiding the trouble of double booking a room. Pave the way for fully utilizing scheduling tools like constraints, the scheduling aid, and the room utilization report by editing classrooms in JMC Office. Now, the thing to note here is some elementary schools don't put a room in. So every course that is taught needs a room listed and needs for the MDE and some additional information as well. Here we go. Every course needs to have a room and needs to have these items here. So log into JMC Office and head to attendant staff rooms to manage the classrooms you intend to use in each of your buildings. I'm not going to take a live look here, folks. I'm just going to show you on these screens because it's super straightforward. Step 1, click the edit link next to an existing room to edit the classroom details, or click the edit link next to a blank row to begin entering details for a new room. So if you don't have any rooms in here because you're in elementary school, you need to add the rooms in. Step 2, enter the room name or number in the room field to associate a name or number with the room in your building. You do need to name it something. It can be even kindergarten room or room 101, doesn't matter to us. Step 3, and this is the important part here, enter a number in the site number field to define the room as part of your state reportable building. This is where you need to take from your MARS records. There's building 10, building 20, building 40, sometimes building 30, whatever building it is. That is the site number. If you don't know what the site number is, talk to your MARS reporter. They will take you to the Minnesota MARS Edit School Data Screen. I might as well just go there since I'm talking about it. They'll go to the Minnesota MARS Edit School Data Screen, and it's going to tell you your school number for each grade level that needs to match what we have for each room number here. This is not complicated. Don't overthink it. I'm an elementary building. What's the MARS number? It's 10. Put 10 in for the site number field for any room that you have. You don't need a student capacity. Don't even worry about that there as well. Step 5, click the update link to save changes or the room list, or click cancel to discard your changes. And if you wanted to print those out, you can. You really wouldn't need to do that there as well. I'm not going to take a live look at this. If people have questions, you can ask them. The main thing to note is every school should go to their, I'll go back to it, their attendance staff rooms and make sure there's rooms listed and that there's a site number listed there as well. That's what the MDE will pick up off of. If you get an error that says this particular course does not have a site number or room number, it's telling you that you need to enter those particular items there. Anything from any of our esteemed panel that wants to add to this?
Yes, this is Karen.
Yes, Karen.
Do know that like auditorium that could be used by multiple sites very easily. You can do an auditorium A and an auditorium B, give them different numbers. And so then you can give one to site 10 and one to site 20 and assign as needed for which level that room is being used for.
That's awesome. Karen, could you also do like auditorium elementary, auditorium middle school, auditorium high school? Would that work as well? Because that's just internal to JMC.
You got it.
Awesome. Great. Karen Millette, you are wonderful. Great. All right. I see a question that came in. Denise or Linda, would either of you be able to read the question off?
Sure, I can. So I need to add gym?
Yes. Your gymnasium will need to have a room number. Every course needs to have a room number listed. Yep. Great question. Any other questions?
Go one further. For elementary, if my elementary is, can it all be, if I just need it to assign to 10, can I just give them one room number and everybody teaches in the same room? Is that a problem?
I'm not sure. Is it a problem, Karen? Could they do that?
As far as I know, because the only thing what they're getting from there is the site number 10.
Sure. Yeah, I don't see for JMC, the JMC side, that's not a problem. So if you, good question. So Karen is saying, hey, MDE is only collecting the site number. So if you want to have one called elementary rooms, you could have one room, site 10, and attach it to every room that's listed there. My only thing is, it's not hard to attach them to rooms, but it doesn't matter to me. Either one would work. Great. Any other questions there, Linda?
Yes. Are room numbers necessary for online programs?
Pam, it depends. Does your online program have a different site number? And it will. So are you going to give it a site number that's an online school number, or are you going to give it to your elementary or high school? So yes, it needs to, because it's assigned to what's the provider of the instruction, not where the students are at.
Great. Is there one more, Linda, or are we all done?
Yes, it says we use it for elementary and middle, so it needs 2 Gym A and Gym B.
If you're
correct.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay,
so like Paul, like you were going to say, or elementary gym and middle school gym, and create those both.
Yep. So since we're talking about it so much here, we'll go to attendance, staff, rooms, and I'm going to come down here. I'm going to say here, this is going to be, I'm not going to type gymnasium, but you could do gymnasium elementary, and that's a site 10. And I could do gym high school, of course, making this up. And that's site 20. And there we go. Just like that. Somebody already was editing that one there. So let's try that again here. There we go. Different site numbers if I focus in there. This is 10, this is 20. Great questions. Anything else, Linda? Are we good to go?
No, Pam is asking, are room numbers necessary for online programs?
So she answered that already. Yep, she answered. What she said was, yes, they are necessary. Any course that's taught needs to be in JMC and a grade given, and any course that's taught needs to have a room number, and that room number needs to correlate. So Karen was saying that room number would correlate to the building. So if there was a distance learning building, for say, in your district, it would need to have that building. Great. All right. I don't think there's any other questions. Is that right there, Linda?
That's correct.
Let's keep rolling. Working with courses in JMC Office. Viewing course information. Now, I do want to say one thing is that if you've not set up courses before and you have to go and start setting up courses, this is not really the training for that. Now, typically, that's not going to be a high school or middle school, because every Minnesota school that uses JMC should already have their schedules set up for middle school and high school. If you need to set up your elementary schedules, go to our YouTube channel, type in, I think you could just type in schedule, and it's going to bring up all of our scheduling here. We've got one in here called elementary scheduling. I should type in elementary scheduling here. All about scheduling elementary. Watch that video if you need to create a lot of courses. That's what this video is for. I'm going to go through just basically looking at the course data items that are important for MCCC. Viewing course information. Need a handy list of those courses you have entered in JMC? Log into JMC Office to run a course data list highlighting course schedule information, course grade information, course teacher information, and more. Review current courses to make sure your course catalog is up to date for the upcoming scheduling season, or for a more detailed perusal, export the data to review later. Every school who does MCCC, the person who does MCCC, or your scheduling person should run course data lists. They are super handy. To view or print a course data list, log into JMC Office and go to Schedules, Course Data List. Step 1, select a radio button next to the following option to include a corresponding information in your course data list. I'm going to show you 3. The course name and number. Well, I'm going to do the live look. The course name and number expanded. This is the one that includes state course codes, delivery method, and additional course information. This is really the one you want to do. It's the second item that we have there, the second radio button. Once you've done that, step 2, you can place a check mark in the only include courses with students enrolled checkbox to view only courses with students currently enrolled, or leave the checkbox empty to view all existing courses in your database. I would do this. It means, hey, only show me the courses in 23, 24 where I've got kids in. Step 3, select by course name or course number. I would just leave it as it is. I wouldn't even worry about the order by. I would just click preview there. Step 6, you can click the print button there. I probably would print it out at least to a PDF to check it out there as well. You also can do exports. I don't know if you'd want to do an export. I think just using the PDF would be just fine, but you can create a course export or create a section export or a teacher sections export as well. But in a nutshell, what's going to happen is you're going to come here under schedules, course course data list. If you are brand new to MCC or not, what I probably would do, and let me make this a little bit bigger here so I can expand my screen, is I would come in, run a course name and number here, preview. Here's all my courses listed here. Great. Then run your course name and number expanded. This I would definitely print to a PDF or print to paper to see, do they have a bell schedule? Do they have a teacher? What's the academic year calendar? All that information, print that to a PDF or paper copy so you can review that instead of scrolling through each course. This report saves you scrolling through course to course to course. You might want to run a course scheduling info. I'm not sure. It's already got the teacher on here. I don't think you would necessarily need to do that. I really think you're going to focus on the course number and name. That expanded means we're telling you what's going on with the state reporting fields there. So I think that is all there is to it. Is there anybody on our team that wants to add anything about the course data list? Okay, if somebody has a question about it, you can type it in. I'll get to it when I get to the next Q&A part. Adding MCCC course data, this is where we get to the nuts and bolts. MCCC requires the reporting of early education subjects, school readiness and early childhood, family education, K-8 subjects, English, language arts, English language arts, math, etc., and all 9-12 subjects in order to provide the correct funding for your school district. If you want to know what courses you need to do, you can reach out to the MD. They've got a list of them. All 9-12 subjects need to be in there, and there's a list of K-8 subjects as well. The Edit Course Data page is your convenient location for applying course codes and attributes to ensure all appropriate course information shared with the state during MCCC reporting. Now, the thing to note is, I'm going to show you here how to enter these in course by course. Many of these fields can be mass filled. Here we go. In JMC Office, head to Schedules, Course Data List, Schedules, Course, Edit Course Data to view and edit all state reporting attributes for state reporting. Step 1, select the course to be edited by entering the course name and course number in the Find field. Step 2, click the State-Specific Section tab to view section attributes that will be reported to the state. Step 3, click the Edit link next to the appropriate section to edit the section attributes that will be reported to the state. Step 4, edit the following attributes to provide course section information during the state reporting process. I'm going to read them here. I'm not going to add any content or any comments about them. And I'll have our panelists know that when we look at the live look, I'll ask under each area, is there anything you want to add? But here are the different areas for you to understand what they mean. Instructional method, right here, is the method through which students will be receiving instruction. Instructional delivery mode, it indicates whether a course is taught in person, online, or a hybrid of the two. Mark indicator defines the course section as reporting a course grade to the state. Virtual, right here, indicates whether a course will be meeting virtually or in person. Fixed period defines a course as meeting at a set time each day for calculating instructional minutes from the bell schedule. In most cases, the value will be true. Instructional minutes, the total number of instructional minutes for the term. And instructional language, the code for the primary language used when providing instruction for the course section. Import course data from the prior year on the Schedules course, import course data page to update all state reportable fields in JMC for the current year. I waxed eloquently on like that before. Step 5, click the update link to save changes or click the cancel link to discard. Step 6, click the state-specific course tab to edit the state course code, that's right here, for the selected course. Step 7, select the appropriate code for the state course code dropdown list to identify the course with the state. The MDE requires K-8 schools to include state course codes for ELA, that's English Language Arts, math, science, social studies, arts, world language, PE, and health courses. I get this question all the time from our wonderful schools who don't teach those courses separately. Every school, every K-8 school needs to report these courses because that subject matter is being taught. So it doesn't matter what your school is, how you're doing your courses, whatever it might mean, every K-8 kid needs to have, to be clear, these courses on their schedule, and every kid needs a grade for those courses. And Karen can correct me if I'm wrong, that could even be a pass-fail, right? If you're a Montessori school teaching kindergartners, you do need to have these courses on there, and the kid needs to have a grade, and even a pass-fail is a fine grade to give for those students in those particulars. If they're giving a grade like a 1, 2, 3, 4, or an A through F, that should go in there for those courses. But the courses need to be there. I don't think there's any school, and Karen can correct me, I don't think there's any school that is exempt from putting courses in for each kid. Is that right, Karen? Am I correct on that?
That's correct. We are aiming to go this direction so that people would have time. And so we've been doing this for a couple of years. So yeah, we're to that point that is to be done. They do not have to do a grade, because if it's put in as a standards grade, they can actually do that as the marking indicator that you just showed, if that is unselected. But that's a caveat. We would like to get to everything being, even if it's a standards, that it would provide a grade for everything, and pass fail for us means that it meets the required standards for that grade level and course, does not meet the required function. Can they do that information? So it is not a pass or a fail. We're looking for, is that student functioning at the grade level for those standards?
Great.
Elementary things.
And a 1, 2, 3, 4 would work as well. Is that right, Karen?
Oh, most definitely.
Great. Great. All right. Consult with the MDE with specific questions about which course codes to use for early education, K-8 and 9-12 subjects. And Karen, I hope that I'm doing you a solid by being so straightforward about what needs to happen there. But these are the questions that people bring up. Step 8, click the MCCC tab to view and edit course-specific data attributes, including preschool/early education attributes that will be reported to the state. Step 9, click the Save button to update specific course data. Helpful tip, save time editing. Here we go now. And we're going to talk about this in a few minutes. So I'm leading up with this. Save time editing state-specific section and MCC course attributes by using the Mass Assigned Course Data feature on the Schedules Course Mass Assigned Course section data page. That's the next section, I believe. Now we're going to take a live look, and I'm going to give my panelists some time to jump in here if they have questions. Going under Schedules, Course, Edit Course Data. Again, the assumption here is your courses are in, all the kids are scheduled, right? If you need help with that, watch the video. We can help you set that up. Go through each tab, state-specific section. I'm going to ask for comments in a second. I do want to say this one right here, instructional minutes. That is the total minutes for the entire term. This is a semester-long course. Has 3,200 minutes. So I just kind of guessed. I didn't guesstimate that. I used a calculator. I said this course meets for 40 days. No, I said it meets for 80 days. Excuse me. It's a semester. It meets for 80 days for 40 minutes for each day. That's 3,200 minutes. It is I don't want to say rough estimate, because that's not necessarily it is, but it's the closest estimate you can get. We're not worried about snow days. We're not worried about early outs. We're not worried about late starts. It's just, hey, how many days are they going? What's the average number of minutes per day? So that's where you're going to see a number in there for quarters, probably, around the 1,000 to 2,000 minutes. And for semesters in that 3,000, 4,000, maybe 2,500. That's the number that they're looking for there. Does anybody else have anything they want to add about these fields?
Yeah, a longer name for that field is instructional minutes planned.
Oh, yeah.
So that gives you an idea that again, to back up what Paul said, it doesn't matter if there was an early release or a snow day. It's how many minutes are you planning? And MDE does want it accurate to within a few minutes.
Great. That's helpful. Thank you, Greg.
Greg, can I add on to that just a little bit too? Looking to be an average, because we know each quarter quarters can range from 40 to 45 days. So if you take and just send one number for all of them, so 42, and multiply that and use that as your number of days, that would be perfect, because this is the number of hours per day times the number of days in a average term.
Great.
Do not try to make this specific for each one.
Yeah. Put good faith effort in. don't overthink it. Just average days. Karen said it the best. Great. Anything else about these fields here for folks? Okay, the next one then is the state-specific course one. This is where you'll come in, you'll choose a course number here. This is accounting. I would choose, this is my accounting course. I can actually type accounting in, I believe. There we go. There's my accounting courses there. Choose accounting. And then what JMC does is that if I had updated, this is a demo database, just so folks know, when I click save, it'll fill in this information here for me as well. There we go. It did fill this in. It might look a little bit different for you, but this is straightforward. Choose a state course code. You've got to choose one that the state has that's listed there. I don't even know, do we have an other in there, Karen? Or should every course match some course code?
It should match. And I just want to make sure if you don't see something here, because what you're doing is then matching on title. And this can be problematic if you're looking for something PSCO or college. There's nothing that says college. Sure. So no, do not use that.
Nope, not using that.
Please use, so what you may need to do is use our documentation for the course catalog and search on content clues, because sometimes it might not be readily available or just make sense by just the title itself. So the clue is, if the title works, yay. If the title doesn't, please use our documentation on MDE. And this stuff is switching over to be under the Ed Fi documentation search. Mm-hmm. And so if you would do that, that would be great. And then do more of a not that one.
Not that one, sorry.
Go to the Ed Fi one. We're switching over to the the courses that it's under there's a new spot where it's under the Oracle search in the Ed Fi data information. On the left hand, go down to the Ed Fi part.
Right here, yep.
Yep. And then under getting started, the last one is Ed Fi documents and user guides. Gives you everything about Ed Fi, but change the data collection on the left hand side to be MCCC. And that will give you everything. And in there is the course catalog is towards the bottom.
There we go.
Okay, so that just is a FYI that so 2025 is going to be that. The 2023 is going to give you what you're currently using. 2025 has got some additional new things. So just note the title works really well for, like, say, English 9, Algebra 1.
Yep.
But if you need to actually look into something and I've got a film class. Is it film for arts, film for technology, or so the course catalog gives more details and helps with the course content. You may not be able to match by title. That's my harangue. Thank you.
Yep, and just to save yourself some time, don't reach out to Karen or even to JMC support or try and be like, I don't know what course matches up, right? You are the person, you're the one that will have to find those things. So I'm empowering folks to say, do your best to match those courses up based on subject if you can't find the title. It's just another
right.
way.
But I will help.
Oh, sure.
I won't do it for you.
That's what I meant. Yeah, that's what I meant. Is that, that they'll help for sure. But, look first. That's what I'm saying, right? If just because I'm kind of reiterating what you said. Don't come in here and say, I've got astronomy, right? It doesn't, I can't find it, or you first spell it correctly, or I can't find something there. Then go to that codes, right? And then if you can't, then you can reach out to Karen, of course, but put the good faith effort in. Because I always like to see, Karen, I always try to tell people, we're empowering you, right? This is something.
Yes.
All directions, we're empowering you and to be able to do that. I know there's a question.
Can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Type in linear algebra.
Okay.
In that search that you just had in yours, linear algebra. Okay. This is really interesting because everyone's going linear algebra. That's algebra 1. It's not. Linear algebra is actually a different study of mathematics. That's called linear algebra, but it is not linear equations, which is algebra 1. But the title doesn't help you with that. So this is just a great spot where you just look at that. And sorry about the sound effects. But it's just a great spot to take a look at that the titles can be misleading and the course classification descriptions really help a whole lot more with that.
Great.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks, Karen. All right, one more tab, and then we'll see if anybody has any. We'll get to the questions here. Here is the MCC tab. This is one that was updated quite a bit by Greg Gilman and team. It has in here a record type and course level, sequence limit, standards addressed, any EE curriculum. Greg or team, do you guys want to add anything to this?
You'll see different offerings there depending on which record type and course level.
Oh.
So that's why those have been promoted to the top. They used to be in the middle somewhere.
Got it.
Pick the record type and course level first, and then you will get the appropriate fields below that need to get filled in.
Got it. Great. There we go. Great. And then Karen, would they, if they want to know like the definitions of these, would they go to that Ed Fi documentation?
It is, and that the one for this is going to be the document that's called the data manual.
Great.
The data manual is an improved, if anyone used prior, it was how to create a local course index.
Yep.
We've now improved it and upgraded. The data manual is all encompassing, and it is all data, all grade levels. It's everything is in there.
So Karen, I would guess you would say everybody should download this Minnesota Common Course Catalog Data Manual, have it on their desktop ready to go. So if they find a field such as sequence limit, they could search for it and see the definition on the MDE side. Is that correct?
That is correct. I can just give you a heads up. For the most part, all of JMC is going to keep that as 1 and 1. It is only sequencing within a year. Just real quick, you for the most part, leave it just like that.
Great. Awesome. All right. Anybody else have anything to add about this tab?
I do want to mention back a moment ago, you were talking about the descriptions and that you can find them in MDE documentation. But I wanted to mention that also in JMC, once you pick a state course code,
yep,
it does have the state's description in that description tab. So save it.
Okay.
Look in the description tab.
Great. Thanks, Trey.
So if you're not sure, pick one. In JMC, this is a way you could do it.
Yeah.
Pick one, read about it. If that's not the right one, go back, pick a different code, or refer to Karen's MCCC documentation.
Yep. So if I wanted to come in
here. Hey, but before we go on, just really, really quick, a lot of these hints and tips are also back at that Ed Fi, a video for K-8 course classification. So number 1B is K-8 and how to do that selection, and 1A is 9-12. So, and these are 10 to 15 minute videos. So, and it reviews some of that stuff we're saying right here.
Yeah, and I think that if you're new to MCCC or you're feeling like you're floundering a little bit, watch those videos, because again, we want to empower you. It's not just jumping in and putting codes in. We want you to be empowered. Some great training videos here that the MDE has as well. Okay, I just want to repeat because I think it was pretty cool. You can come in, choose a topic here, click save. That's metalwork, popular topics of metalwork, and then in the description here, it's different than it was before, of course, because it's a different code. So that is sweet. Good job, Greg Gilman and team. Okay, I see some questions in there. So Linda, you want to start reading them off?
Yeah.
Tell us who's asking the question, because I like to know their name.
Okay. Eileen is asking 03239 science multi-grade levels is listed as a course code in MCCC 2023, but not in JMC. How do we enter that specific code?
That's a good question. This came up this week in support. It depends on where you are at. Go ahead and type it in, Paul. The particular code.
Which is it, Linda? What's the number, Linda?
03239.
Okay.
Okay. This probably means that at the moment we do not have MCCC checked in Ed Fi. There are a few codes that are specific to when you go to the Ed Fi implementation that were not there when we were doing the older version, the pre-Ed Fi version. So if you're not seeing everything you're expecting to see, I do have an update coming out shortly that will basically, it assumes that everybody is Ed Fi from 23-24 on, with rare exceptions. But in the current version that all of you have, if you're not seeing it in there now, it won't let you do it until you switch over to Ed Fi, MCCC and Ed Fi, or get the next update that's coming out.
And what Greg is saying is that if you go to File, Administrator Options, you can Ed Fi Settings, this box needs to be checked, but actually clients don't check that box. Our tech support team does.
So that's not true. They could check it themselves.
Oh, can they now? I thought we had to turn on. I apologize. Okay, so they can come in, they can check that, and then they're good to go. Great. So that needs to be checked to be able to do that.
That's interesting. You do have it turned on, and it still didn't find that code.
Yeah, it's demo data though. So I think sometimes I haven't also updated my tables and such as well.
Here's the other thing that you might need to happen. There is an option in Minnesota Ed Fi Start Year.
Yep. To update your table.
In the Tables tab.
Yep.
You may need to just update all courses.
Okay. Do you want me to run it?
Mm-hmm. And if that is still not giving you a code that you feel is valid, make sure you contact support and share the course code that you're concerned about. We'll look into it for you. Occasionally there's an update that somehow isn't getting through. I can't explain why. I'd have to look into it and figure out why a course code isn't coming through.
Sure. Great. And I'll leave it at that. And then we'll make sure that person has their MCCC checked and then updates those courses as well. So great. Next one, Linda.
Presence asks, we just started preschool. Do I have to add everywhere all tabs?
If the preschool courses, yep. So going back to that previous slide here. Well, preschool has this is K-8. What are the preschool course designations? Are you able to list them from the MDE, or do I, because I don't have the preschool ones here. Karen, sorry to put you on the spot.
I'm sorry, what was that?
For preschool, what courses do they need to enter?
School readiness, ECFE, and then any special ed that is not taken care of inside one of those two.
And those are the courses that they would create?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, great. So those courses you create.
So if the preschool itself is based on a school readiness and if it's not just a daycare, so we don't need to report daycare, but if it is a scheduled preschool and it's doing the instructions and following some of the stuff for Minnesota, that is reported as school readiness, and it would include the students that are special ed in there. So inclusive model.
Great. And that would only be for preschool for last year, Crescent team, for 23-24. If you started preschool this year, yes, you'd want to do it. We're not worried about 24-25. We're only worried about 23-24. This will apply to 24-25, of course, but you don't need, so you could put those courses in, but let's finish our 23-24 first. Great. Other questions, Linda?
She asked another question. Can anyone access the Ed Fi page?
Only your JMC administrator can access the Ed Fi page. The person who's designated as your JMC administrator is the person who can do that. Great question.
And then she said, what about pre-K?
What do you mean by pre-K? School readiness, ECFE, or special ed early education.
Those are three designations, right? So it have to fit. If it fits under one of those three, is that right, Karen? Then you would put a course in. If it doesn't, then you would consider it daycare.
Got it.
Great. Other questions? And the great thing is this is recorded, so you can go back to it later as well. All right. We good to go, Linda?
Good to go.
Awesome. We are cranking out this training. All right. Bulk load MCC data elements. This is the time saver. Ed Fi is sure to save you plenty of time during state reporting. However, there are some setup steps to take care of to make sure your data flows smoothly. The Mass Assign course and section data feature streamlines the process of assigning MCCC data elements to your courses so you can avoid entering information into individual courses while preparing your data for Ed Fi reporting. In JMC Office, head to Schedules, Course, Mass Assign course section data to assign MCC data elements to several courses at once. Step 1, select an MCCC data element from the first drop-down list to apply changes to a specific field within JMC. Step 2, enter new data in the new value field, or select the appropriate value from the new value drop-down list to define the new information that will be assigned to the selected MCCC data element. Unsure the value to enter in step 2? Check out the on-screen prompt in bold to help you choose the proper selection. Step 3, select the students from the grade level drop-down list to apply changes to all students or students in the specific grade. It can only be done by grade level or all. You can see the all there, but you can use specific grade levels. Step 4, click the Assign Value to Course Section Data Element button to apply the mass assign changes to the appropriate fields on the Schedules Course Edit Course Data page, which we were just looking at. All right, so for this one here, you just got to think about what do you want to mass assign? What do you want to do by hand? So if I go under Schedules, Course, Mass Assign Course Section Data, I'm not going to run through each one, but they're all listed down here, bell schedule, fixed indicator. These are the ones that you can do in bulk. Typically, you're going to mass assign your bell schedule for certain grade levels and so on here. To the new value here, so see here it says daily schedule. Here's the different schedules I put in. If I change this to another one here, so for example, the instructional language, it's going to say enter a valid MARS language code. You put that in there. You could do it for all or for specific grade levels. Or if I go to the instructional method, select a valid instructional method code. It kind of goes down here. You would choose that here. So we try to make it easy for you when you look at the screen, read everything that's on the screen to help guide you through these steps. I think folks know this is a time saver before you start going in. You typically are going to mass change everything that makes sense. And then if there's a few courses like PSEO or something like that that don't fit the norm or the regular course data, then you could go to the Schedules Course Edit Course Data and edit that information. So I'm going to see if there's any questions from our clients about this. Anybody on the JMC team or MDE team that want to add anything about this particular screen? It's pretty straightforward. All right, here we go. Reporting instructional minutes with JMC. Recording the number of minutes a course meets throughout a year is an essential step for reporting instructional minutes via Ed Fi. JMC provides 2 simple options for adding instructional minutes to the state-specific section tab for each course. Once instructional minutes are established for your courses, they'll be imported along with the rest of the course data to save you the hassle of entering the data each year. So this is another way to mass assign. Here we go. This is important now. Depending on the structure of your school schedule, you have the options to either A, calculate instructional minutes using the bell schedule, or B, manually assign instructional minutes to each course. Now, each of these can be done in bulk. So you can either have JMC calculate the minutes, or you can manually assign the instructional minutes in bulk. And you also can go course by course if you want to as well. But we're going to show you these 2 different options. First, we're going to talk about calculating instructional minutes using bell schedules. To me, this is more of a high school situation where different periods are different amounts of time. Maybe the same in the middle school, not so much in the elementary because lots of times the courses have equal course time, but you can decide. So in this first situation, you are letting JMC look at the data you've entered, and JMC is calculating the instructional minute using the bell schedules. And we'll talk about bell schedules in a little bit. Middle schools and high schools that operate on a fixed schedule can calculate instructional minutes based off the bell schedule defined in JMC Office. Before editing periods and assigning the bell schedules to courses, simply add the name to an existing name to define the bell schedules in your school. Does your middle school operate on a different bell schedule from the high school? No problem. Simply define multiple bell schedules in JMC to accommodate the different bell schedules in your building. All right, here we go. Head to attendance, bell schedules, and class periods, and edit the bell schedules to define bell schedules in JMC Office. You'll come here, click the Add Schedule button to define a new schedule. Step 2, enter a name in the bell schedule name field to define the schedule. For example, enter the name high school schedule to define a bell schedule for your high school. Step 3, click the update button to add it or cancel if you want. Helpful tip, you can edit it if you want to rename it. You can also delete it as well. Repeat, this is step 4. Repeat steps 1 through 3 to add all bell schedules that exist within your building to your bell schedule list. Fun fact, bell schedules carry over from one year to the next, eliminating the need for creating a schedule from scratch each year. Has your school experienced a major schedule change, such as moving from traditional to block scheduling? Simply create a new bell schedule and edit the periods accordingly. Okay, so that's one option, or that you need to do that, just so you know, to be able to come in. So I'm actually just going to show you really briefly how to do that. We go under attendance, bell schedules, and class periods, edit bell schedules. They just need to be named. I can add a new one if I want to here. Very straightforward. You're just naming them. I've got my daily schedule here, middle school, high school, early childhood, right? You might not have all those different options there, but we just add these in to show you what to do there as well. If you've got a high school, you'll probably have one high school schedule. If you've got a middle school, one middle school schedule there to be able to track those particular items. Now here's where a little bit of the work is done. All right. Defining class periods within a bell schedule. Once one or more bell schedules have been established in James the Office, it's time to define each bell schedule by adding class periods and timeframes for automatically calculating instructional minutes. Define the class periods that make up each of your school's bell schedules by adding a name, type, and time frame to precisely calculate the amount of time your students spend in class. So define the class periods with the bell schedule in James the Office by heading to Attendance, Bell Schedules, and Class Periods, edit class periods. Step 1, select the appropriate schedule from the bell schedule drop-down list to edit the class periods within that schedule. Step 2, click the Add a Class Period button to define class periods for the selected schedule. Step 3, select a number from the number drop-down list to define when the period will be offered during the school day. That number is the period. Step 4, enter a name in the name field to define the corresponding period. Number 2 is second period. It might not always correlate. You might have a homeroom. Number 1 is homeroom. Number 2 is period 1. So that's how we make you put in the number and the name listed here. Early education and elementary schools that do not follow a bell schedule might choose to define 2 periods, AM and PM. So I want to say that again. If you define a bell schedule, you could just do a morning and an afternoon. Since we're on the topic of elementary, all your courses can still be in period 1. That's no problem whatsoever if you choose to do it this particular way. But I think, and I'm not going to ask for feedback on the moment, but most elementary schools, you can do it this way, but I think it's probably just as easy, if not easier, to just mass fill in the minutes for your elementary schools, which we'll look at in a moment. Middle and high schools that follow a bell schedule may choose to define all periods of the day, period 1, period 2, period 3 for state reporting purposes. Step 5, select the appropriate option from the type drop-down list to define the period as after school, during school, before school, during school's lunch, or evening school. You can decide that. A period that happens outside of the regular scheduled school day may be defined as period 0, using the before school designation from the type drop-down list. So if you've got something that's outside the day, like a PSEO class, you can use as period 0 and before school. Enter the start time and end time for the selected period, or simply click the clock icon to define the time of the day the period meets. Step 7, click the update button to save your changes to the class period, or click the cancel button to discard them. Step 8, repeat steps 1 through 7 to define all class periods for each bell schedule in your school. Helpful tip, click the edit button to update information in an existing class period, or delete button to remove it. Once your bell schedules and periods are defined and courses and sections are created, head to Schedules, Course, Mass Assigned Course Section Data to calculate instructional minutes. And that's where James will go through and calculate the instructional minutes for you. The instructional minutes field will automatically be populated with calculated instructional minutes if you've entered a bell schedule and defined periods in James the Office. Helpful tip, head to the Sections tab on the Schedules Course, Edit Course Data page to associate bell schedules with a course. Now, before I look at the live look, I want to tell you, if you're in elementary school where most courses or all courses meet the same number of minutes per day, you do not need to go in and calculate out your minutes. You can just mass assign them. This is the reason we put these bell schedules in, is so that you can then calculate it, because maybe you're a middle school or high school where most classes meet 42 minutes a day, some meet 43, the lunch one meets 45. Now, elementaries can do this as well, right? But I don't want people to get confused. Does anybody want to add anything to that? All right. So
I think the bell schedules have to be set up in the elementary. If I'm not mistaken, Greg, otherwise it's not going to work, but you don't need to use them.
that's what that's what I meant to say. And I appreciate that you still have to put a bell schedule in. You should do that, but you don't necessarily need to calculate it out. And the bell schedule can be, as we were saying here, it can be, I'm going back, it can be AM is period 1 and PM is period 2, because that's how we define those periods in the elementary. So it's really easy. If you're in elementary and you're just doing a 2-period day, period 1's the morning, periods 2's the afternoon, you can still put all of your classes in period 1. You don't need to change anything, because that's just because you're just what the MDE is tracking is the number of instructional minutes. So people really get hung up over, well, in the elementary, not everything's taught in the morning. It doesn't matter. Put your bell schedule in, mass assign those minutes. The MD just wants to know how that's the end goal we're looking for. How many minutes per term are on average are the average minutes per term for each course section?
Just one little, this is Karen, one as you're paging back over.
Yep.
If you have a number in the period minutes in a course, then it needs to also have fixed period checked. If there is not a number, fixed period cannot be checked. Those two go together. Period number, fixed period. If you list a period, got to be checked as a fixed period. If it's not a fixed period, it better not have a number.
Well, in JMC, you've got to have a period chosen, right, for it to schedule the way we recommend. So to your point, they're all going to have fixed period indicator. I guess I hear what you're saying, Karen. I'm not disagreeing, but the way that we teach folks is you got to have a period chosen for it to schedule correctly. So
awesome.
Yep, absolutely.
I wanted to add here, Paul, that a lot of what we were just talking about here with bell schedules, also term dates, we used to have to do that pre-Ed Fi in an MCCC calendar application. Now that we're no longer using old MCCC, it can all be done in JMC. There's that calendar application no longer exists. It has to be done in JMC. So it's an extra reason to talk about making sure you have your term dates as well as class periods defined.
Absolutely. Following JMC's best practices for scheduling. Great point, Greg. All right. So I'll come in here. I'm going to go through it and then I'll see if anybody has any other questions here. Under attendance, bell schedules and class periods. I already put a bell schedule in. And now I'm going to edit class periods. And actually, here's my elementary schedule here. So I edit class periods here. So if it was my middle school schedule, I came in here. Period 1 is right here. I named it period 1. It goes from 8:20 to 9:05. Period 2, 9:15 to 10 o'clock. Period 3, 10:05 to 11 o'clock. I can add a class period in. And we list out the previous ones here. This is going to be period 4. And this is going to be, I'm going to put period 1, but I'm going to change it to 4 here. What's the type? During school. This starts at 11:05. Got all the different ones here. Holy cats and moly. We got all the options. 11:05. And I could actually type in here, I think, if I want to. 11:50 a.m. So if that's easier, and update that. And that's going to fill it right there. So that's how you would typically do a middle school or a high school schedule. This is the average daily schedule for your students. We're not doing early releases, not late starts. It's your average schedule. If I go to my elementary schedule, here we go. We got 2 periods. This is how you would look for your elementary schedule. 2 periods, AM block, PM block. I could also I could name this period 1, period 2. It doesn't, that's just for you to see what that is there. And then start time, 8 o'clock to noon, and then noon to 3:30, whatever your time are listed there. So really easy to be able to do. So again, You want to put your bell schedules in, you want them listed. Don't overthink it as an elementary. You don't need to reach out to your elementary teachers and say, oh man, now we got to change our courses in JMC. You do not. Keep scheduling the way you've always been scheduling, following our instructions there, and then put 2 periods.
One more thing about these bell schedules is this information probably doesn't change from year to year for you.
Yep.
Okay. So this information can stay this way for a long time until you actually change your bell schedules and you could put in a new one. You probably need to leave the old one in because it was the bell schedule used in prior years. So if you need an elementary schedule 2, then create one like that, but leave the old one and create the new one, and then switch your course sections over to the new one.
Yep, that's great. Thanks, Greg. All right, if anybody has any questions, they can type them in now. I'm going to be showing how to manually assign them. I mean, like it's actually mass assigning by mass assigning them. Let me go through that first, and then we'll get back to the bell schedules here. Let's go through this first, and then we'll see if anybody has any bell schedule questions. Manually assigning instructional minutes to courses. The mass assign feature will help you assign instructional minutes for most courses, but there are some instances it might be necessary to manually edit instructional minutes for individual courses. To manually edit instructional minutes, simply decide the appropriate number of minutes of a course will meet during the term and add them to a specific course in JMC. I'm actually gonna jump back here. I apologize. This is going to show you how to manually do it. Super easy. But if you're calculating the bell schedule, well, let me show this first. I don't want to get off track. I apologize. I should follow my slides. Here we go. This is really easy. For the manual one, I need to go to a course. It's a PSEO course. Something's different about this course than all my other courses. Head to Schedules, Course, Edit Course Data to edit instructional minutes for an individual course. Step 1, find the course. Step 2, click the state-specific section tab. Step 3, click the edit link next to the course. Step 4, enter the instructional minutes in the instruct minutes field to define instructional minutes for that course section. Step 5, click the update link there. That is super easy to do in JMC. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to walk through, to summarize everything before we move on, all 3 options we have in JMC for editing course minutes, instructional minutes, from the hardest to the easiest. The hardest to me is to go to Schedules, Course, Edit Course Data, to the state-specific section tab, edit, and change the instructional minutes there. That's ours. But you might have to do that for some courses. The next easiest one, or to me, the next easiest is to go under attendance, bell schedules, and class periods. Edit your bell schedules, edit the class periods, set that up, and then you're going to go to Schedules, Course, down to Mass Assign Course Data and say, hey, I'm going to set my bell schedule to the middle school schedule for my middle school students in 7th grade. Assign that. Middle school schedule for all the kids in my 8th grade. Assign that. And then I'm going to go to my high school schedule and do that for my 9th grade and assign that. And it's going to calculate all of those minutes. So you don't have to go to each course and say, oh, is this a 3rd period course or a 5th period course? JMC does all the work for you. That's why it's super handy, especially for a high school where they have multiple course periods, multiple minutes for the different course periods. The easiest, if and only if most of your courses meet for the same number of minutes per term, talking typically elementary, many times middle school here, could be high school as well, actually. If you're like, oh, we've got them all equal, great. Then you would go to Schedules, Course, Mass Assign Course Data, and go to the instructional minutes per term. Oh, I made a mistake here. I apologize. I made a mistake. Let me go. I'll finish this one off here. Instructional minutes per term, non-calculated. Okay. And I put in, hey, almost all of them meet for 80 days, 40 minutes, and that's going to assign it for all my courses or per the grade level. I apologize. I told you the wrong thing previously. This is where you come into the instructional minutes per calculated here. And it tells you that this will calculate the value for all course sections based on the bell schedule, calendar, course section, and course data right there. And you'll come in here and it will change it for each grade level that you have listed there. Now, before I get to questions, here's the cool thing. you can put in here that you can override it if you want to, or don't change it. So let's say that you had a few courses that, say you didn't have any of the minutes in there, you could change courses that were PSEO courses and don't change it. Most likely you're going to come in here and you're going to overwrite it and then go back and change those instructional minutes after. So that's, I apologize. I made a mistake in the beginning when I was at the bell schedule. That's to change just the name of the bell schedule for those courses. This is here, the non-calculated elementary or middle school or high school, where all the courses meet for the same amount of time or similar time. This, the calculated, is where you are actually going to say, JMC, calculate for me based on the bell schedule, the calendar, and the course section and courses, the minutes for you there as well. Great. Anybody want to add any comments? And then we'll get to questions. Not too shabby there. This is the one that I was really thought we did well last time, and we did well this time as well. So Linda, is there a question there?
Yes, Crescent's asked, is there a checklist for all data that needs to be entered? And for all of MCCC and JMC before submitting to Ed Fi?
There's not a checklist per se. That's a great question, but I want to say two things about that. The schedules course, edit course data screen, the state specific tab, everything needs to be filled out here. The state specific course tab needs to be filled out, which is just the top item here. And if applicable, the MCCC tab as well. So these are the three tabs, right, that you would go to put that information in there. Second, when you send data in, you will get an error report that would tell you that as well. But this is the checklist, right? State specific course, and MCCC as well. We'll get to submitting data, and then that, of course, for any Ed Fi that produces errors there. But those are the main items that we have listed there. The only other item I would say is that teachers do need to submit grades. That's just part of the process. So they need to make sure that there's grades in there for the students, or you will get an error if a teacher didn't submit grades for a particular course. But that's my answer. Greg or any of the JMC team, do you have a different answer? Does that suffice?
I would offer that a good gut check on MCCC is to run a course data list, use the expanded option. That's going to give you a glance of all of your state-specific, your MCCC course data at once. So if you're seeing empty state course codes, that's probably a problem, unless it's not a state reportable course, okay? This is a really good way of checking your data and saying, I've got a little work to do on this course, this course, this course.
Greg's absolutely correct. So this would be a checklist per se. Like, we can't have 1 minute for instructional minutes, right? That doesn't work. So it's to check and see, do I know what these things are? And this is also a double check to say, do I know what these fields mean? If I don't, I'm going to go out to that Ed Fi documentation and I'm going to look that field up there. So this course data list is also a great option. It's a double check, so you don't have to scroll through each course. So in essence, I'm going to combine our answers. I'm actually going to open two tabs at the same time, which is my favorite thing to do in JMC. If I want to know what needs to be submitted, I go to this tab, the state specific section. I go to state specific course, and I go to MCCC. Do I want to know if I've got all the data in there I need? Then I go to my course data list and I run the course name and number expanded, and you'll see all the fields there. And you should see fields in here filled out with appropriate information. Great, Linda, any other questions?
I believe Karen is answering it.
Karen, you're the best. All right, here we go.
We have one here. We need to submit grades for each student for each course. That is the goal. Even if it's standards based, the idea is to have a course grade, not a score put to a standard. So that is the goal, is to get a grade for each student for each course.
So to double check that, if I go to schedules, student edit schedules, every course, and this is demo data, every course, let me go to another student here. Every student should have a grade in, good kid here. Let's go back to this. Abby, every kid should have a course grade for all the different columns they have here. Maybe not the exam. Exams don't get sent to the state. It would be the quarters and semesters here. The end of the term would need a grade listed there. If you want
I'm going to back you up just a little bit.
Yeah.
We only do the final grade. So the actual one that in like the high school, that's credit bearing.
Oh, got
so
it.
Where you put final.
So the final grade, like a semester grade for semester 1, semester 2, but elementary would be quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4, if that's their final grades there as well. Great.
Got it.
That's how most schools are. I will also tell you there's a pretty cool report if you want to see before you send your data in, like did everybody send their grades in? What you can do is you can go to grading, reports, down to, where am I going here? Grade distribution. Grading reports to grade distribution. And this will show me for a term, this was put in there, say how many A's and B's and F's were given during a term, or 1, 2, 3, 4, pass or fails. There's a none column here. And this means that for accounting, there's 3 kids that don't have a grade there. There's none. So I'd have to check that accounting class here, or Mr. Freed. It goes by course, by grade level, and there. You also can go under, I know it's kind of quick, so grading reports to grade distribution. Another one is grading reports, I think grade report. Yeah, here it is. I can go to quarter 1. This is gonna be really helpful. And choose none. Which kids, by student, which kids in quarter 1 have no grade? If I preview that, it's gonna tell me, here's my kids, here's the course, here's the teacher. Those are the ones that have to go to their schedule and put a grade on there for that particular course. Great. Other questions?
I don't see any other questions.
All right. Let's keep on rolling. Okay. Working with college courses. I know I said this before. I'm going to say it again. Download these slides and follow them, because the definitions for these college course codes, we don't have them memorized at JMC. We refer to these as well. So any college class you have will meet the definitions we have in this part of the presentation. Use these slides to choose appropriately the college course codes. Creating college courses. High schools that offer college courses for students via articulation agreement, dual or concurrent enrollment, or PSEO can set up those courses in JMC to ensure accurate MCC reporting data. Simply associate college course codes and names with a course in JMC to ensure all college course information gets submitted to the state during the state reporting process. To set up an articulation agreement, dual concurrent enrollment, or PSEO college course in JMC, head to Schedules Course, Edit Course Data page. Step 1, again, we're assuming that this course is already created, just so you know. Step 1, find the course. Step 2, enter the title for the college course in the alternative course name field to submit college course data to MCCC if reporting via Ed Fi. So you've got to put the alternative name in for the college course name. Match the alternative course name field with the exact college course title to ensure an accurate record. Step 3, click the state-specific click the state-specific course tab and select the appropriate course code from the state course code drop-down list to associate a course code type with the selected course. Step 4, click the MCCC tab and select the appropriate student record type from the record type drop-down list to define the course as PSEO or part of an articulated agreement. Step 5, so this is where it gets important that you follow these directions. Select the appropriate option from the course level drop-down list to define the course as part of an articulation agreement. That is A, dual enrollment, D, or not applicable, X. Wondering how to define your courses? Check out the options below to define the common course types. So again, if you've got a question, just refer to this presentation. That's what we do as well. Articulation agreement. Select A, or on the MCC tab, select a 1 from the record type drop-down list and an A from the course level drop-down list. Dual concurrent enrollment. Select a 1 from the record type and drop-down list and a D from the course level drop-down list. PSEO. Select a 4 from the record type drop-down list, an X from the course level drop-down list, and a none from the standards assessed drop-down list there as well, which will appear when you choose that correct combination.
Now that standards address no longer appears at all. So that comment is superfluous here.
Gotcha. So let me go back to that. For PSEO, select a 4 from the record type and an X from the course level. Step 6, enter the first 6 digits of the OPE ID in the college code field to identify the college your school is partnering with. Helpful tip, exclude the last 2 digits, zeros, from the OPE ID code to correctly match the college code for state reporting. Step 7.
Just real quick,
Yep.
College codes, MCCC data manual, and we've updated the OPE, not OPE ID, not to have the last 2 digits. They are in the MCCC data manual in the newest version.
Great. Thank you. I appreciate that. Step 7, enter the course code assigned by the college in the college course code field to associate the JMC course with the college course. That is right down here. Helpful tip, the college course code begins with the letters of the department offering the course, followed by the course numbers that are used to identify the course. For example, Math 151. Step 8, click the Save button to update your course data. I'm actually not going to take a live look at this. I'm going to take, if you have any questions, go ahead and type them in now. But here's what I would do. When you're ready to put all your college course codes in, have all your stuff ready, sit down, watch this video at this part. Download this document and go in and say, okay, this is dual concurrent enrollment. Great, I'm going to do a 1 and a D. All right, I've got 2 PSEO courses. Go to those courses. All right, that's a 4 and an X. Oh, back it up. I've got an articulation agreement. Great, I'm going to put that listed there. And then I'm going to make sure to put in my the 6 digits of the OPE ID and so on, and the college course code. Do it all at once. Don't do 1 today and 2 tomorrow and the next day. Just do it all at once. Watch the video. Get it all done at one time. And then next year, when you import your course data, that course data can come forward. And when you get to putting the new college courses in that your great kids are taking, watch this part of the video and do it all at one time. So I'm going to take a break for a second, grab a drink of water, see if we have any questions, and then we'll get going in about 5 seconds here.
5 seconds. I have to go. So
Gotcha.
I've got a training scheduled on my side. So thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thanks,
If
Karen.
you have any questions with MCCC, please give me a call. Thank you.
Thanks, Karen. And we've gotten through a lot of the nuts and bolts, so I think we're good to go.
Thanks
All
much,
right.
Karen.
You got it.
Yep. Thanks, Karen. All right. Assigning college course grades. So we just tell you how to do this to make sure that you know how to do it efficiently. And also where it's done in JMC. Awarding credit for articulation agreement, dual concurrent enrollment, or PSEO courses is as simple as JMC. Once students have completed their articulation agreement, dual concurrent enrollment, or PSEO courses, enter the results in JMC to paint the full picture of student academic progress, including college grades and credits and high school credits toward graduation on official high school transcripts. To add the college credits and a grade to an articulation agreement, dual concurrent enrollment, or PSEO course, head to Schedules, Student Edit Schedules in JMC office right over here. Step 1, find the student. Step 2, and this is the real thing here where you got to do this. On the right-hand side, click the Student Section Details and Overrides link in the Quick Links area. You got a quick link here to view college course details. Step 3, click the Edit link next to a course to add a college grade or credit to that course. Step 4, enter the grade in the college grade earned field to associate a college grade with the student record. Step 5, enter the number of credits in the college credits earned field to associate college credits with the student record. Step 6, click the update link to save your changes or cancel. Why do we do this? Because many times the credits received by a student in the college course is different than the credits they receive in your high school on a transcript. That's just one of the reasons. That's why you need to go in and put this information in there as well. Again, I would do these all at one time, right? You got all your college students, you got all those college grades. Come in here, schedule, student, edit schedules, find that course. Let's say that's a PSEO course, my accounting course. Come over here, scroll down to the right, student section and detail override. It's right over here. It's the bottom one on the right. It's going to have a course here. I'll click edit. This is telling me, hey, in here, they earn 1 credit here at my Lake City High School. Right here, they're going to earn, there's no override. I mean, you wouldn't be doing that. You would be putting in their grade. They got a B. Maybe that's an A- at your school. And they earn 2 college credits listed there. That's all you need to do to be able to put that in there. And then you can click update. And that's how we do that right there. What's the college grade earn? What's the college credits earned there as well. Very, very easy to do for your MCCC reporting.
This particular screen that Paul is on right now is a way for us to put in the oddball stuff, the unusual stuff, the not for every course things. It just didn't really fit on the students' edit schedules and grades page. So we had to find a new data entry page just for these seldom used items.
Yeah, a little fun fact, since Greg mentioned it, like this is also where you can put in if a student received individualized credit for a course. This is not related to MCCC at all, but it's just a little fun fact. If a kid took this class and they only took it for half the term, they got half a credit, you could give them half a credit here instead of creating their own course. So that's your little fun side fact today with JMC. All right, Greg, thanks for adding that in. I appreciate that. Linda, do we have any questions about those college course credits? Or are we good to keep moving forward?
You can keep on going.
Okay. Submitting Ed Fi data. Okay, here's the deal, folks. We have been at this now for an hour and 20 minutes. So that's a long training. This submitting Ed Fi data is covered in the Minnesota Mars training. Want to remind everybody on our JMC training page, go to our videos. Got 2 videos here for you. Anybody who does Minnesota State reporting should click on videos, scroll down and watch the Minnesota State reporting roundup video. That's going to walk you through everything for your Mars to Ed Fi reporting, and the what's new in Minnesota State reporting video, what's new. And also it's a work session as well. You should watch those. I'm going to go through at a very rapid pace submitting Ed Fi data because it is exactly, I think it's exactly the same as you're doing for any Ed Fi data. So I'm not going to take live looks. I'm just going to go through it at the question and answer slide. I'll see if Greg and team have anything they want to add to it, but I don't want to belabor this point because if a lot of people have already been doing this for the last year via just regular Mars as well. So I'm going to run through it at a very quick pace. And if people have questions, I will make sure to stop and see if people have questions here.
The main differences are that there are a few additional buttons on the pages that are specific to MCCC that you wouldn't have seen before.
Yep, and that's these first ones that we'll talk about. Absolutely. Thank you, Greg. I appreciate that. All right.
I will have to go to another meeting here now, Paul. I've got a users group meeting. So
thanks, Greg. I appreciate your feedback and your adding your notes today. It's been a great training.
Nice job, Paul. Thank you.
Great. Absolutely. Allowing MCC data to flow directly from JMC to the state is as simple as placing a check mark in a checkbox. Once MCC reporting via Ed Fi is enabled, your district's course section, student, and grading data can be reported during regular Ed Fi data syncing. Avoid the tedious task of downloading files and uploading them to a state database by enabling MCC reporting via Ed Fi and JMC. I also want to add, you can only do MCCC in 23-24 via Ed Fi. You have to do it via Ed Fi. There's no more old way of doing it. It has to be done via Ed Fi. In JMC Office, head to File, Administrator Options to enable MCC reporting via Ed Fi for your building. Step 1, click the Ed Fi settings link. It's going to open up a new page. Step 2, place a check mark in the Enable MCCC Ed Fi Data Collection checkbox. Step 3, click the Save button. That's all there is to it. I'm not going to show anything about that. If you've got a question, go ahead and type it in, and I will get it to the next Q&A slide. Now, this is where you're going to see some new things once you enable that. Completing the Start Year tab in JMC Office is a critical step in submitting your school's data to Ed Fi at the beginning of the school year. This state reporting milestone guides you through the process, ensuring successful data submission to the state through the Ed Fi portal. By completing the checklist on the Prep tab, updating code tables, uploading school data, and addressing any errors, you can prepare your data for Ed Fi submission. Access the Start Year tab in JMC Office, follow the step-by-step instructions, and utilize the helpful tips to ensure a smooth and accurate data submission process. I do want to point out one important thing. If you gotta do your Ed Fi submission first. Your Mars Ed Fi submission has to be done first and error-free before you would attempt to do MCCC. So if you've not done your Mars via Ed Fi for 23-24, you want to do that and get that done, and then you would do MCCC. In JMC office, and I'm going to point out some things as we go because I'm not going to take a live look here, but feel free to type a question in. In JMC office, go to Minnesota Ed Fi Start Year to confirm you've completed the necessary tasks to prepare your data for Ed Fi submission. Step 1, click the Prep tab to access the checklist of items that are to be completed before the start of the school year. There are new items on here once you access or you turn on the MCCC portion. If MCCC is not on, I will not see, especially these schedule ones down here. I don't remember all the ones that are new, but these are new ones down here. Step 2, you're going to place a check mark in the appropriate checkbox to indicate you've completed the listed item. You do the item there, you check the box. You do the next item, check the box. Don't just go and check them. Make sure these are done correctly. Step 3, click the table. So that's very important. Start at the top. Do this item, check it off. Do this item, check it off. Do all the way down to the bottom. Only after that's all done, then you'll go to the next tab, which is the Tables tab. Click on the Tables tab to access the list of tables that require updating from the MDE to start the school year. You'll check the first box here, right? Click the first enabled button on the Tables tab to update your database from the corresponding MDE code table for the start of the school year. This brings information in from MDE. You'll do it, let it run. Click the next box, let it run. Click the next button, let it run. It tells you the last time that you did this. So that is very helpful there as well. Step 5, we're moving across the top here. After you've completed the Tables tab, go to the General tab. Click the General tab to access the list of MDE data submission elements related to your general school data. Step 6, click the first enabled button on the General tab to begin uploading your school data to the MDE, and then just click the next one, let it run. Click the next one, let it run, just like you've been doing for Mars via Ed Fi. Step 7, click fix any errors displayed in the Start Year Summary Report and repeat steps 7 and 8 until all school data is successfully uploaded in Ed Fi. Helpful tip, click the Print Summary button to print the summary for reference while fixing data errors, or click the Cancel Summary button to return to the General tab and continue the Start Year. Let's take a live look at the Ed Fi Start Year page. Right? Go. We're going to go under Minnesota Ed Fi Start Year. Come in here. View all these items here. These ones will be new listed here. And then we'll go to the tables and click those buttons, and then General. Excuse me, then Students. Right on down the list. Follow the same things you did when you did your Minnesota Mars to Ed Fi transition. Very easy to do. Okay. Let's keep on rolling. If any questions, go ahead and type them in. Worked with course data submissions via Ed Fi. Again, I'm not going to do a live look with this one. I know I did the previous one. We'll just keep on rolling through it. Submitting Start Year data for Ed Fi takes care of the majority of students' courses and general school data. However, if you've added a course to your database after the Start Year submission, you'll need to update course data to ensure it is available for Ed Fi reporting. After you've added the course on the Edit Course Data page, simply click to update the individual course in Ed Fi with just a few clicks. In JMC office, head to Minnesota Ed Fi Update Course to report your newly created course to MCC via Ed Fi. Step 1, select the appropriate building from the building drop-down list to access available courses. Step 2, select a course from the Find drop-down list to update all individual course on Ed Fi. So you're sending one course in at a time. You want to update a course. Enter the course name or number in the Find field to easily search for your course in the JMC database. Step 3, click the Update Course button to complete the process of updating a course in Ed Fi for MCC reporting. That's just saying, hey, I want to update this one course. Helpful tip, update the course data and fix Ed Fi reporting errors through the school year for new and existing courses to avoid getting bogged down as the state reporting deadlines approach. All right, if you have any questions, type them in, but I'm going to keep on rolling. Again, very straightforward. You're just sending data in and fixing errors. Removing course data from Ed Fi. Let's say you accidentally did something, right? Mistakes happen, which is why JMC has created the ability to delete a course from the Ed Fi portal if it was accidentally submitted for MCC reporting and if the update course feature has not removed it already. With just a few clicks, you are able to delete a course from the Ed Fi portal even after it's been submitted to MCCC and avoid errors that prevent the smooth flow of data. In JMC Office, head to Minnesota Ed Fi Delete Course to remove a course from your Ed Fi portal. Step 1, select the appropriate building from the building drop-down list to access available courses. Step 2, select a course from the Find drop-down list to delete an individual course from the Ed Fi portal. Helpful tip, enter the course name or number in the Find field to search for a course in your database. Step 3, click the Minnesota Ed Fi Delete Course button to complete the process of deleting a course from the Ed Fi or MCC reporting. If you do that accidentally, send a course in, you need to delete it, this is how you do it. It's super straightforward. All right, I don't think we have any questions, so I'll keep on rolling. Submitting grade level data, this is what you do to submit your MARS data via Ed Fi all the time. Ensure accurate state reporting by updating student data through the Update Students by Grade Level tool in JMC Office for seamless submission via Minnesota Ed Fi. Simply select the grade level, submit the associated records, and fix any errors indicated. Oh, that is that one there. Hold on here. Get back to that slide there. That was actually good news. Folks that attend know that I lost internet access during this training, and that was telling me that saved that video, which I'm very excited about and what you're viewing right now. Simply select the grade level, submit the associated records, and fix any errors indicated in the summary report for a smooth data update process. Log into JMC Office and navigate to Minnesota Ed Fi Update Students by Grade Level to select a grade level and submit student data to the MDE. Step 1, select a grade level from the grades drop-down list to narrow the range of student data submitted. Step 2, click the Minnesota Ed Fi Update Student by Grade Level button to send student data to the MDE for selected grade level. Step 3, fix any errors displayed in the Update Students by Grade Level summary report and repeat steps 1 and 2 until all data successfully updated to Ed Fi, just like you've been doing with your MARS data via Ed Fi. Helpful tip, click the Print Summary button to print the summary for reference while fixing data errors, and click the Cancel Summary button to return to the Minnesota Ed Fi Update Students by Grade Level page. Repeat steps 1 through 3 to submit data for each grade level. Helpful tip, for additional support, send your error summaries to support@jmcinc.com for help diagnosing and fixing errors. 2 rules of thumb here. Number 1, try to fix errors on your own. Empower yourself. Look at what the error report says and fix the error. Number 2, if you do need help from the JMC Tech Support team, send us the actual error report. Don't black anything out. Don't cancel out the kid's name or their MARS number or any of that stuff. We need to see the actual error report to be able to help you diagnose what that is. Email that to support@jmcinc.com. and they'll be happy to help you. If your school has more than 100 students, submit data 1 grade level at a time to avoid network timeouts that could disrupt the submission process. All right, then working with student data submissions via Ed Fi. In JMC Office, when student information changes, you can quickly resolve state reporting errors by sending targeted data updates to Minnesota Ed Fi using the Update Student feature. This feature allows you to save time and effort by only updating the specific student records that include changes, ensuring accurate and up-to-date submission without the need to update all student records. Log into JMC Office and head to Minnesota Ed Fi Update Student to submit data for a specific student. So if you just want to send 1 student in, not all the students. Step 1, enter the student's name in the Minnesota Ed Fi Update Student drop-down list and select the student to submit Ed Fi data for an individual student. Fun fact, the student's name, state ID, grade level, JMC student ID, and the student reference number are displayed to ensure you selected the correct student. Step 2, click the Minnesota Ed Fi Update Student button to submit Ed Fi data for the selected student. Step 3, fix any errors displayed on the Update Student Summary Report and repeat steps 1 and 2 until all data is successfully updated in Ed Fi. Click the Print Summary button to print the summary for reference while fixing data errors, or click the Cancel Summary button to return the Minnesota Ed Fi Update Student page. Step 4, repeat the process for additional students that need Ed Fi data submitted. Helpful tip again, if you have an error report, send us the actual error report at support@jmcinc.com. All right, any questions there? All right, I'll wait for a minute. I appreciate everybody. Patience. Like I said, I lost my internet connection briefly at the end, but the beginning was so good. And we got through so much great data. I think that even if this part doesn't record, which I do think it will, it's going to be a great video there as well. All right, JMC news and upcoming events. We got some great webinars. If you've lasted this long, you're good to go. Great webinars coming up here. All right, new year, new tool to reach the community. Start the term off right with the messaging app that tightens engagement across your entire district community. JMC's Community Messenger. From an admin dashboard with all the data needed to enhance messaging to robust preferences for community members, it's one handy tool. Want to add the Community Messenger for just 42 cents per student? Reach out to sales@jmcinc.com. Heads up, site visits are coming. We are going to be visiting schools or calling schools here in the month of October, which is exciting. All right, we also got a standards-based grading webinar that we recorded on 9/18. You can check that webinar out if you want to do standards-based grading in JMC. And if you're looking to use a sandbox, probably not for this year, but for next year, it's a great way to test out scheduling or different features in JMC to be able to kind of test things out. On behalf of myself, the JMC programming team, the JMC training team, and the Minnesota Department of Education, thanks for your time today, and thanks for choosing JMC.